meeting is being recorded.
Oh, I didn't check. I was felt like I was running behind. I was really early. That's a good thing though, because rush every time. Yeah, that's coffee. Coffee, strong. No, nah, do a little coffee, just drink it. Sometimes it be kicking in later, but it's not strong. At least though it makes me sleepy. Yeah. So you're still sleeping on that? Mm-hmm. Why does she have to tell me please. I tried to put that on my head.
Good morning, everybody joining us. We're gonna give everybody else a few more moments to get their Zoom in order before we get started. I love to see faces when I do Zoom meetings, but you know, I can live with black screens and names, so it's fine.
There's Miss Jan.
Hey, Jan. I haven't seen Jan in a minute. You missed the session last week.
I know I was trying to get in there and wouldn't let me get in there. And then,
Oh,
yeah, I think you had something about it was canceled or something. I don't remember now. That was
it was all here.
anyway, I'm here.
Well, it's good to see you.
Thanks. We'll seeing you to be seen.
Good stuff. Yeah, so we're trying to take y'all through a listing boot camp here. Um, those that came in person received some goodies. You get a nice golden folder with some tools that's gonna help you win some listings. My pleasure. Yeah. Yep. So as people join us, just to give you a quick overview, the three focuses for our listing boot camp. Part one. Part one was yesterday. Good morning, Jimmy. We're just getting started. We're letting everybody join us. So with the listing boot camp, part one, which was last week, we went over price banding and how to identify which markets we should be targeting. Right? We want to be looking at what are some of the best methods right now to get new listings, which is some of the stuff we're going to be going over today. What needs to be in your listings package, which is some of the stuff we'll be going over on the next session. And why do sellers choose you, right? And how to dominate that listing presentation, that marketing consultation, if you will, right? Things we know to be true: top listing agents have a better quality of life. They have better control of their business than buyer agents, right? These are facts. Top listing agents have the opportunity to double in their deals. They have the inside track to hunt properties for their buyers. Ton of other good reasons why you want to be a listing agent primarily, right? Again, we all gonna work with buyers here and there, but we are building a business and we are in control of what that business is going to be looking like, right? So again, if you were to ask me, you want to focus on owning the inventory and controlling a market and then ultimately multiple markets, right? So we're gonna jump in a second. Let's see how much time we're working with. What time is it?
10:07.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and jump straight into it. All right, so what we're gonna be talking about today is, again, we're gonna be looking at farming, but we're also gonna put an emphasis on what do I do once I identify that farm, right? How do I go ahead and actually get the listings? How do I get in front of these people? And there's gonna be a multitude of ways, but we're gonna start with me sharing my screen and opening up a new window. And if somebody could let me know when they can see my screen on Zoom.
See it.
Thank you. All right, so I want everybody, and again, this is a workshop, so everybody make sure you're logged in to your device and follow along with me. We're going to go to FMLS. And once we get to FMLS, of course, you're going to log in. Once you get to your login, you're going to go to products, and you can hover over it and select it, or you could just press it and then come straight to Remine. All right. Once you log into Remine, you are going to go to search on the left-hand tab. And you'll notice now you have tabs across the top and tabs across the left-hand side. And you also have properties across the right-hand side. I already have content filled in, so I'm going to make sure I clear all filters to get a fresh screen. And I'm going to let Maya in 1 second, and we'll come back over here. Good morning, Maya. We are logging into FMLS and Remine, and now we're at the search portion of Remine. All right. So I'm gonna give everybody a couple of seconds to get here, and then we're gonna jump straight into it. And as you see, I have the searches. I moved the map selected. So as I move the map, obviously, I'm going to see more or less properties. Keep that in mind as you're doing this, because if you have a territory that's not next to another territory, it's going to zoom into the territory that you most recently inputted. And so you might lose some of your count unless you zoom out of the map, right? And so we're going to go to, we will be at the search tab at the very top, and we're going to get going. So you guys last week should have identified which markets you want to be in, which territory. So you can go ahead and just circle that area or put a radius around that area. I'm going to start with 30308 as one of my areas, and I'm going to select it. Now you see what happens, right? It gives me all this information. And notice I'm on properties, not listing. Right? If I click on listing, I'm going to get actual active properties as opposed to properties that exist, right? And we're going to apply some filters to make sure that the status is not active. So we can do closed, expired, withdrawn. We don't want to do hold, or coming soon, or pending, or active, of course, because again, we're prospecting. We're not researching here. So we have those. Going back to the top, we're going to add, for me, I'm going to add another zip code, which is 30303. And I'm going to also add another zip code, which is 30363. So I'm doing downtown Atlantic Station in Sono. And I'm going to select 30363. Now, going back to the point I made a moment ago, this isn't adjacent to other zip codes. So it took me to just 30363. So my property count dropped down drastically, right? So I want to make sure I come back out, and you'll notice that all of my territories are still selected. And now my property count goes back up to 428, right? Where it was just at 84 in Atlantic Station alone. Now what we're going to do is add some additional filters, but we want to do the filtering now on the left-hand side. So the icons that you see on the left-hand side: property value, home equity, ownership time, sales score, absentee. That's where we're going to be working from now, right? So look at it as the top part is to get your location and your specifics right, and then we're going to jump into the meat and potatoes of it all, right? So let's start with property value. I only want to market, let's say, 250 and above, right? So I select what I want to do. And again, this is yours. You're not following me. You're following along with me in your market and whatever your business plan dictates, right? Cool. Everybody with me so far? Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So I've added my property value to the search. Now you can see at the top, it showcases that property value is one of the filters now, right? I also want to do home equity, right? Let's say, just for this example purposes, I want equity that's above 250. I want them to have some kind of something to look forward to, right? And you see my results drop down to 133 when I did that, from 428, right? So again, I can market to all 428, but I would prefer to market to people with a decent amount of equity that are more than likely going to be open to selling, so they can capture some of that, right? One thing else that I'm going to do is, well, we'll just keep going down. So let's look at ownership time, right? And again, you guys can see that they put this in order of preference almost, but of powerfulness and effectiveness. So just go down the list. Everything you're not going to use, but some of it you will, right? So now we're at ownership time. I want people that's owned it, let's say 5, 10, 15, 20. Over 20 years, they're probably sticking around. Less than 5, they might be sticking around as well. And again, depending upon your market, this may or may not be true. If you're in a more transient neighborhood, right, then 0 to 5 might be appropriate for you, or 20 plus. So now let's see where we are. Now we're down to 40 properties. Let me do something else then. Let me go to one of my other neighborhoods that I missed, which is Castleberry Hill and that Marietta Street artery, right? And let me add that zip code as well. Now, where are we at? And let me make sure I zoom all the way out to capture Atlantic Station 2. And it appears that we are 43 properties. All right, so let's do this. Let's add 30312 as well. I want to get as close for me in my business model and my goals, I want to get as close to 100 properties as possible for me to market to on a consistent basis. And as you can see, this isn't the same as the market necessarily that I would be targeting with a just listed or a just sold campaign. That's going to be whatever neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods that property is in. What I'm looking at right now is my core geographic area, and I'm looking to identify people who are most likely sellers at this moment or in the near future that's in my territory, right? So again, I can do this anywhere else, but I want to have it as close to my target geographic territory as possible, right? Remember last week, those who were with us, my target market was downtown Atlanta. So you can see where I'm still in technically downtown Atlanta in the core of in town, right? And so you want to still be in a location where it's going to make sense that you can kind of duplicate your efforts, if you will, right? So the same people that sees this are going to be a lot of the same people who see those just souls, who's receiving my market report, right? But they're not all in the same neighborhood, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Like killing two birds.
Exactly, exactly. Instead of me going all the way to Buckhead and adding those people in here as well, which I could do if I need to get to my 100, number that I'm looking for. So 75, I'm good with 75. We can rock with that.
80.
Oh, 83 now, right? Because I zoomed all the way out and it included Atlantic Station now. So now let's drop down to sales score and see what happens. We'll do high, medium, drops down to 34, right? Let me have a look at my filters and see what we're working with here. Let's do, oh, you know what? Let me go back to home equity and let me not be so, right? And add that, boom, now I got up to 56, right? So everybody's not gonna walk away with $1 million, but, all right. And I feel good with that, but I'm not in love with it. So now I'm gonna add Midtown, which is 30309, which is still adjacent my main market, right? And scroll out, make sure everything is captured. And let me let Clarence in. Good morning, Clarence. We're just on Remine. We're searching and we are identifying the geographical territories in which we're going to be sending some marketing pieces to gather more listings. All right. And so now I'm at 80 results. So I can live with that. Now we're not going to spend time on the absentee owner. But if you wanted to target, let's say renters for some reason, if you want to encourage renters in a particular neighborhood to purchase a property, as opposed to, good morning, as opposed to continuously renting, then you can use the absentee owner. And then obviously if you're working with investors and you want to, or if you're targeting investors and you want to see, hey, I want to work with investors that are going to be doing a large amount of trades with me. You can identify who's owning these properties, right? And so let's click on that actually to give you an idea. So let's say I don't want to do that. I only want owner occupants, right? So I'm going to put owner occupants. Drops it down to 57, right? But I know I'm talking to the owner who's living in that property. So I know exactly what my message should be when I'm sending that postcard to them, right? So I have 57 results. And we're gonna continue to work with this. Did I add? Oh yeah, I did add Atlantic Station. But if this were my actual thing, I would get rid of the detached properties because I like condos and townhomes, right? That's where my market strategy would be. That's the message I would be delivering in my postcard, right? Is I'm the high rise guy, so I want to be talking to the right people at the right time, not sending my high rise guy stuff to a mansion in Midtown, right? But in this case, for example purposes and for the sheer amount of listings that we're working with, we're gonna keep everything relevant. But I need you guys to be as specific as possible, right? The more targeted your efforts, the more effective they will be. Again, if I'm talking downtown high-rise condos to somebody in Alpharetta, I'm probably not their guy. You see what I'm saying? You want to know your audience. Again, it goes back to what pool am I swimming in or fishing in, right? Am I fishing for lobsters, right? Or am I fishing for salmon? Two different places to go fish at, different type of bait I have to use, different type of equipment I need to use, right? It's not the same thing, right? Yeah, it's seafood. It's not the same thing. So it's like we want to make sure that we know our audience and we can target them appropriately so we can be as effective as possible when we actually have our postcards or whatever else it may be in front of them. How we doing on time?
10:22.
Cool. All right. So flood zone risk, we're going to bypass. Again, that's another element you could utilize, especially if you're by a body of water. That might be something that you want to consider. If your market is Lake Lanier area, right? Or Lake Spivey or something like that, you might want to really consider that type of stuff. Lake Oconee, right? Building type, as I was just referring to, condo and townhomes for me. But it's going to, oh, well, actually, we're in Midtown and downtown, so it's not going to be that drastic of a drop. So from 57 to 43, right? So I can live with that. And again, you would like for this to be as close to 100 as possible. It doesn't have to be. Now, when you're doing your geographic farming, however, so when I'm sending out my automated reports, that needs to be at least 100 for it to be as effective as you want it to be, right? If you have a condo building that's at 88 units, you can live with that, right? But if you have a neighborhood, you want those neighborhoods to equate to at least 100 properties, in my personal opinion. But again, it boils down to your business plan. How much money am I looking to make? How many trades do I need to do based off of the volume, right? So if my average price point is 500,000 and I'm looking to make a certain amount, right? If I need to do less transactions than if my average price point was 250,000, right? To get to that same amount. So it boils down to your business plan. That's where all of this stuff starts. If you have not done a business plan yet, you absolutely need to go to one university and get your business plan done. We do it for you. You just have to fill in the blanks, right? And now you know exactly what your target is, you know what you're looking to do, and we can help you get there. But if you don't know, we can't lead you there because you have no clue where you're going, right? So again, these are rough numbers based off of an example, but you want specific numbers based off of your business plan, right? All right, so moving along. Now I'm in my market, I have my property types, and I can deliver the message that I want, right? As you see, there's a ton more options that we can use. Let's actually use the mortgage rate as well, because we don't want anybody that has a 2% mortgage rate. They're not selling. I don't care what you say. If they're smart, they're like, no, I'm sitting on this. We're not seeing twos ever again. My children's children probably won't see a 2-point mortgage, right? And like 10 people had it, right? A 3% or less. So it's like, again, you can target them, especially how much is going to dwindle down your target pool, but you want to be as specific as possible. I don't want to spend money to send it to somebody who's not selling. I want the most likely sellers. That's what we're doing right now, is get to the most likely sellers from my pool of geographic territory, right? So you can do mortgage age as well. So let's say it has no mortgage, it's paid off free and clear. They might be able to make a big killing on it, right? Let's see what that does to our account. All right, so it dropped it by 4. So anybody who had a mortgage over 5 years, right? And again, this is all, there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to making your selections, right? We're just simply looking for the most likely sellers at this point, right? Let's say I don't like, oh, well, that's fine. Even you see that lease on the side as well, those leases, right? These people, that was a lease at some point, because remember, I selected owner occupants. So they probably leased it out and then moved back, right? Or they're still getting their mail sent there for some reason. as opposed to their actual permanent address and primary residence. All right, so moving along. If I wanted to, again, work with an investor, or if I wanted to look for foreclosures, I could click on the distressed deals, right? I can let you know right now, none of these properties are going to be distressed. So I could select all of these and nothing would apply. They would all still be there because none of these are going into foreclosure, right? And you'll find that too. This isn't 07, 08 where people are getting their properties taken from them, right? This is a different environment. So you're not going to see as many foreclosures. At some point, you'll see commercial properties foreclosing, and then after those are getting foreclosed upon, we'll see what the rest of that looks like for the residential field. But you're not going to see too many residential foreclosures, at least not immediately. Cash buyers as well. So I can identify all of these deals that had no mortgage in which somebody was a cash buyer, and I can see that that's an investor, right? And I can reach out and I can target my marketing efforts towards an investor. So I'm speaking their language now, right? But again, for example purposes, we're going to stay where we're at, and we're going to find out how to get what we need, which is the data. Now that we have our most likely sellers from doing our search, our little research here, now we can grab the data. You want to come to the right-hand side and select all, right? And you can save this search at the top if you want, so you don't have to search for this again, which I would suggest. Always save the searches, especially if you put all of this time, and then again, you can just go in and tweak and revise these searches. And these properties will change up a little bit too, as you're bringing them to market and selling them, right? So let's click on, now that we have them all selected, let's click on that shopping cart at the top. And for future purposes, this is a work with. So it's a workshop. So I want you doing it along with us and everybody else too. So we want to make sure that you guys are actually implementing this stuff. So you're not just looking at me doing it. This is you and your business. And now it's like, I have my stuff saved. I can get to work and I know exactly what to do and I know how to do it. Right. This is being recorded, so you guys will be able to watch this in the future, and it'll be uploaded to One University. But again, these workshops specifically are for you guys to work with me to help you build your business. Cool. Are you on your laptop?
I'm having a hard time connecting to the Wi-Fi.
Are you on DOT? Yes. Yeah. Summer get you squared away. Thank you, Summer. So now we want to create a cart, add a name, and add 31 properties to the cart, right? Now that we have our cart available, you'll go over to carts. I'll give everybody a second to finish that. Now on the very left-hand side under save searches, you have search, save searches, and carts. Click on carts.
Good question. Is there any like max that you can save?
Great question.
It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's how much? $10.
Like, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I just had like a lot and they're like, you can't.
Yeah. How many did you have?
It was like, I didn't make it really specific, so it was like 100,000.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. It's gonna be, it's
now
gonna cut
I'm
it
at
off at
6.
10.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And again,
Like, wait a minute.
And the larger the area, the more properties you're gonna get when you're doing this, of course, right? However, going back to geographics, it's not gonna be the same message, right? And this is what I mean by that. I, as the professional, am an expert. I want you to believe that I'm that expert, right? So if I have, let's just say if I blanket Metro Atlanta, right? And I'm all the way from Alpharetta to Peachtree City. And now I have 3,000 of these I'm about to send out. You can, and it can work. However, the message is going to be super generic for it to be potentially effective. You see what I'm saying? I can't say I'm the high-rise king in Midtown or downtown because there are no high-rises in Peachtree City.
Right.
So my message isn't going to connect with them, right? So it's like I can, even if I didn't want to target them, right, and I want to hit all 3,000 people or 6,000 people, I want to take it in chunks so I can hit the right people with the right message. So Peachtree City, I'm talking all of this golf cart living stuff, right? And then when I'm getting to Alpharetta, I'm talking something totally different. And when I'm in Buckhead, depending upon the sub-market, it's something different as well, right? And so it's like, it's gonna be the same cost. It's just gonna be a little bit more time on your end.
Yeah.
So that's not wrong that you have such a large pool. We just wanna make sure that when you hit them with your message, that it's gonna be effective, right? So now that we have our properties, you see some options at the top. Definitely export this list. And I would upload them into my database. And I would make it a point to have a complete database with these people's first and last names. I would find their email addresses. I would find their phone numbers, but they would definitely be living in my one suite as well, not just this one-time drop down, right? And so you want to select them all and export. Once you export them, you're going to get a CSV file, right? You name the file. And I include all columns. Again, it's up to you, your preference. And then you export. And be patient because it's compiling data and it's going to let you know when your download is ready. So don't think it's just going to drop automatically into your download folder. It'll let you know at the top and then you click on that and then you can download it, right? Especially if you're getting 6,000 properties, you know, it's going to be a second. All right, so that's now you have the data and this is part of your database, right? And you want to continuously build your database. The most effective database is a complete database. So the more complete you can make these things, the much better you can make them, right? And be more effective with them.
When you say complete, like their email,
phone, that's the basic stuff. You also want, after you're speaking to them and after you're building a rapport, this is going to your client pool now. You want children's names. You want anniversaries, right? You want birthdays, animals for sure, right? You want hobbies. You want everything about this person living in that database so you remember, or at least it's perceived as if you remember, right? And you know how to be more effective when you're in front of that person. It's like I'm going to this listing appointment or this marketing consultation, and I'm looking at my database and I'm thinking about little Karen and their dog, you know, whatever, right? And so we having these conversations and it's natural and it doesn't feel forced and it doesn't feel like I'm trying to, you know, sell you. Quite honestly, it's just part of my arsenal, you know? So you also see an option to send mailers. I'm gonna touch on that one in a second. Next to that, you have more. So you can print the mailing labels right there for yourself, right? So you can print the mailers. If you're doing your own postcards from somewhere else, some of our agents like to use local vendors. You know, there's a lot of people because we're in the entertainment capital, you know what I mean? So we have a lot of people that have really nice quality flyers for at a very inexpensive amount. So you don't necessarily have to use the vendor I'm getting ready to show you. You don't necessarily have to use the Express Docs vendor if you have a preference with somebody else. If I can get 1,000 postcards for the same price and my message is what I need it to be, I can just print these up and then mail them myself. But you have to consider the postage expense, right? So there's that option if you want to do that way. I like streamlined. So I'm gonna just click on send mailers and I'm gonna name the mailing campaign and I'm gonna build a mailing campaign. And this is where it begins for you to start to actually touch this target market, right? As you see, I'm only spending $25 to mail these off to the people I'm trying to get in front of. And you'll notice you have multiple options. Now, this is just me. So I am not sending a 4x6 postcard when I have an option to send a 6x11 postcards for a $5 difference, because it's going to be that much more effective for that $5 million, right? For them to receive this big postcard in the mail versus something that's mediocre for a difference of $5, right? So again, but I'm not spending your money, so you have to decide what makes the most sense for you. But just make sure you look at these options, right? And you also have additional options. So if I was I can send a letter, right? And again, you have their mailers, the mailing addresses, so you can just print them out. You can print out your own letter and then mail that to them too, and sign it. hey, I have all these buyers I'm working with looking for properties just like the one that you own. I just want to know, are you open to fielding offers? Sincerely, Adrian Provost with my signature. Send it off with something nice and a little business card or something, right? Send it over. But they also receive my big 6x11 postcard, right? A week later or a week before, right? It's only $30, right? And then you also got the yellow letters. I still haven't gotten a response from these guys. Let me send a yellow letter, right? They about to get 4 touches from me in 1 month, right? Week after week after week after week, right? And if they're inside of my geographic target area, like we was talking about earlier, they're also receiving my automated market report. These people done got hit by me 5 times already. I am absolutely, if not yet, I'm getting there as the expert in their market to do real estate business with.
I heard somebody say like if you're gonna send a letter, you should send it in like a black envelope because everybody else is sending white envelopes. Yours will stay.
I agree. Perfect. So to her point, we literally have doodle envelopes. I have gold metallic envelopes. I got black suede envelopes. We also have a doodle envelope with a bunch of the Realty One Group doodles on it, but it's not the Realty One Group tape logo. It's like all the little doodles that we have, you know, with the cool looking stuff. But absolutely to get their attention. And again, that's the goal. It's a one-time fee to do that, right? And then it's like we even have the return label. So if you don't have it where it's printed out for you, I got the return labels in gold metallic too, right? To catch, it's like I want to open this. And then, but you also have stuff like this, right? The rip away. And this is only $31. They open this, they think they got a check coming or something, right? And I would put a check in there of how much money you leaving on the table by not selling this yet. I know what your equity is, and I know what I can sell this thing for.
Right.
I'm gonna do the brief little math and say you got $300,000 just sitting on the table because you're not selling this property with me yet. And they're gonna be like, look at this clever guy. Honey, give him a call. Right? And they got hit by me 5 times, so they absolutely know my name. On one of those pieces, it definitely has my face and my brand on it, right? Adrian Provost in front of the skyline, right? They're gonna remember that. It's gonna look something like this. And it's gonna feel something like this. And so when they touch it, they're gonna want to work with me. They're gonna put this on a coffee table somewhere, right? And if I really want to be bold, I'm gonna leave them something substantial before anybody else even gets in the door. And they like, oh, I can't wait to interview this guy. We don't even need to talk to anybody else. One of our partners to that point, as we wrapping it up, let me see people's faces now too. Let me jump back to Zoom. All right. So we're putting together these brochures for everybody. These are complimentary brochures. Our partner George is over there working hard to get some great partners to be inside of these brochures with us. These are going to be complimentary for all of you guys, right? Just like these are complimentary for all you guys, right? So you have stuff before you even have to spend $1. Just let us know. Send it a note to our operations team and say, hey, I need an order of the brochures. The brochures aren't created yet. As I mentioned, George is still here working on getting all of the vendors in it. Once they're done, they'll be available for everybody in an unlimited supply. And all of our agents are going to have a digital version as well. So you'll have your own branded version of it that has video if you want, and all this other stuff, but it's going to be the same thing. And again, you want to put these things everywhere. Welcome, Mo. We're wrapping up, but this is good for you to hear too. We were just going over how to market and get different listing opportunities from Remine. But this, as I mentioned, should go to every single appointment, buyer or seller consultation, right? And you leave this with them along with any other, piece of marketing material that can help you win that business, right? But this is complimentary, so use it. And it's freaking high quality like everything else that we do, right? In addition to that, those that are in One Lux you can't feel the quality of this, but it's definitely there. This sets you apart, right? When you're looking to go win business and your foot is in the door and you need to make your delivery, it's game over. When you have stuff like this that you can leave with them or let them feel and see and have an idea of that quality. And again, they're keeping the other pieces, right? So everything that we have, like I said, is going to help you win, but you want to make sure that you're utilizing it. In addition, we have One Lux magazine. This isn't the new copy. We got another version coming out soon where our office, the Atlanta office, Realty One Group Terminus, is actually featured in our upcoming One Lux magazine, right? So that's a great one to grab. And now you can customize it, and this can be you where Kuba is, right? With your customization for free. So they don't even charge for the customization anymore of the One magazines. So if you get a One Lux magazine, make sure you customize it. It is complimentary. And it's going to be a piece that you can leave with them in addition to this. And now they really feel like you're the expert. They're not questioning these things now, right? And your confidence should just be building every step you're taking at home as you deliver in that listing presentation. Because you have the tools that you need. You have the dopest company on earth backing you, right? You go up there with that confidence and that swag to be able to get it done and know your stuff, right? And print it out, right? You got List Track, you have Real Scout, you have all of these various tools that you can utilize to be able to come prepared and not look like the standard agent that you're going up against for that same listing, right? So it's like that's what you want to do is separate yourself without saying I'm separating myself. It speaks for itself, right? As soon as you walk in, especially if you wow with all of the other stuff I just showed you a second ago, it's like, man, we already got touched by this guy 5 times before we set the appointment, right? By the time I'm calling, they know who I am. They know my name. This is that Adrian guy that keeps sending us stuff. Wow, right? Seriously, that's how it works. So again, that's how you. What time? How much time we got?
18 minutes.
Oh, we got 18 minutes. Oh, perfect. Questions? Questions?
Yes.
Anybody?
I have a question.
I should have known. So we taking bets next time. We taking bets. Nah, what's up, Jan?
Okay. When you were talking about the farming and everything, and you were showing us how to do it. I farmed before, and I still do a little bit now. But shouldn't you also? And you were going by the filters and stuff. So should you also consider that absorption rate or that turnover rate when you're picking your zip code? Let's put that when you're picking your zip code.
Yes, to answer your question, you should, but that's last week. So that was when we're talking about our geographic farm. But I'm glad you asked that question. So let me elaborate a little bit so I can clarify for everybody too. Right. So what we were just doing, we just identified the most likely seller in a particular geographic location, right? Last week, what we were doing was identifying a market that we should attack to gain ownership in. So in my instance, right, for my example, I'm downtown Atlanta, right? So my target market might be Castleberry Hill neighborhood or the W residences or 12 Centennial Park, right? I want to make sure I got at least 100. So 12 has over 500 units in itself. So that could be a substantial market in itself, right? The W, on the other hand, has like less than 70 units. So that's not quite where I want to be. So I might throw in Castleberry, which has another 300 or something like that, or just do W and 12 because they're next to each other. But those are the people that every single month are receiving my automated market report every month without fail.
Okay.
Right?
So you're saying that you would do let me see if I got this straight. You're doing the farming, but you're going to farm for the zip codes, and then you're going to think about the turnover rate or the absorption rate after you've got these 100, let's say 100 properties in there. Then that's when you actually fine tune it some more, right? Is that what?
Almost. So we'll start with, I'm gonna start with a super small zip code, which is 30303, right? Downtown Atlanta. There aren't many residential properties available there, right? There's a few neighborhoods there, right, in 30303 that are condominium high rises, right? One of them being 123 Lucky Street, for instance, right? So 123 Lucky Street might be my market that I'm going to own, right? That I'm going to send a mailer to every month for the rest of my residential career without fail. They're always receiving something from me, right? That automated market report telling them what's going on in the downtown Atlanta area for residential sales, right? Every single month, right? And then what we just saw today, so that's what we saw yesterday. Everybody needs one of those, right? Where I own this market. And as you start to dominate it, you want to build another market, depending upon how much money you're trying to make, right? So now that I got 123 Lucky Street, I can move on to the Giant Loss, right? Now I'm marketing the same. I'm still marketing to 123 Lucky Street. I never stop. You never stop marketing. Once you identify what neighborhood you're going to own, you stay there forever. You do not stop marketing it. That is the dumbest thing. That is what most people do. They market to it. Some of them see some success, but they stop. It's like, no, once you get the momentum going, that's what forces the rest of the momentum. And it's just a spin wheel at that point. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. And that turns into adjacent neighborhoods that you can dominate as well. But if you do it once, and you get a deal or two, and then you stop, it's like you just wasted a lot of money up front because you stopped, right? You want to keep this market forever, to your point, Jan. So once we know, and again, I say forever loosely, you might have a downtown neighborhood that you're marketing to, and then you move to Beaufort. So you're not looking to be there no more. However, guess what you can do? You can refer that business and still make some money. And one referral is going to pay for the marketing in itself. Or you can connect with somebody and say, hey, why don't we team up on this neighborhood that I've been dominating for years, and you my guy to go knock them out since I live up in Beaufort now, right? It's all about positioning. So, but you own that market and you stay in that market forever, right? Now, what we were just looking at today is more listing opportunities. That market is my market. It's going to be there. Now we're looking at who's the most likely sellers nearby that market that I'm about to start dominating, right? Because it might not be enough likely sellers in 123 Lucky Street at this very moment. But best believe they're going to see my face every single month, right? And then the other people, now there might be one inside of 123 Lucky Street that's going to receive the stuff that we talked about today as well, in addition to the automated marketing, right? But now today, again, we're looking at the most likely sellers in a particular geographic territory, right? And this is who we hit, because we know that at some point in the near future, they're going to be listing their property. I want to be the one in the door to interview with them to bring it to market, right? And so it's like now you have two that you're working with, but that first one never ever stops. You just build on to that. You never stop it. That's why you do so much research up front to make sure that with the money that you're about to commit to this is it's the right market for you. So that's what we were looking at last week, is how do we find the market? But again, it starts with how much money am I trying to make? It starts with the business plan. So that's like 7 sessions ago, right? It's like, how much am I looking to make? 100,000 or 1 million? Because my business plan is going to look different depending upon how much I want to be at, right? My market may look different depending upon, how many sales I want to do. I might make 1 million if my average price point is 250,000, but I have a lot of sales to do, right? If I want to make 1 million and my average price point is 1 million, I need to be looking in a specific market for those opportunities, right? So that first spot was identifying the market, identifying where I'm going to dominate. Everybody should know me for this, right? If it's Buckhead Village, then I need a domain saying buckheadvillagehomes.com. I own that domain. And I have an Instagram, Buckhead Villages or Buckhead Village Condos, right? And everything on that Instagram is talking about Buckhead Village stuff, the neighborhoods, the condos, the properties for sale, right? And I'm owning that neighborhood. That's my neighborhood. You don't come into Buckhead Village. I own that, right? That's the mentality you want, right? Where you literally dominate it. And then I'm never not doing Buckhead Village. I'm just adding on to that, right? Great question. Thank you for asking that.
I have another question.
But
Yes.
I'm kind of confused because so you should do the market first before you do Yeah, because when the marketing I've not marketing, the farming that I've done is I did according to the turnover rate. So should I be doing it the opposite way?
No, that needs to be taken into account when you're identifying what market you're going to be dominating for sure. Because if nothing's turning over, if I'm marketing to a neighborhood in West Paces Ferry, right? I need to understand that these homes may not hit the market for another 15 years.
But
They
you
might
gave
go
us a,
generational.
but you talked about this last year, but still, the numbers don't change. So there was a formula that you can use. So say for instance, I'm just gonna make up a zip code, a 30349. Okay, so then and there's a lot of subdivisions in it.
Yeah.
So don't you I'll call us this subdivision is that's the point or whatever. But anyway, don't in that particular subdivision, there's I'll say 200 homes. So is
Mhm.
that where that comes in at? Because maybe I'm doing it wrong. Um,
No, for sure. But it depends on the market. So 30349, that's
right.
College Park, right? So I know that College Park is more transient in nature than Peachtree City. So the
Mhm.
turnover rate there is going to be a lot higher than Peachtree City, right? I might have a $3 million home in Peachtree City sell in the market for 2 years before it moved, right? Everything I'm putting on the market in 30349 is moving if it's priced right,
Mhm.
right? So it depends on your market and your business plan. Because again, if you only looking to make X amount, that market, that neighborhood alone might be sufficient, right? And then once you grow what you're looking to attain, then you might need to add additional neighborhoods.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, the to answer your question, the research is involved, the extensive research that we did is involved specifically for the market that I'm going to be spending money to market to every single month without fail. So we want to research as much as possible to make sure that when I break down the numbers, it makes sense for me to make that investment, right? What we doing now today is simply getting in front of the highest likely potential sellers in the near future. And I'm spending, as you saw, $30 every time I'm sending them something, right?
So what I was talking about was something that you can farm forever. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. You want to
Oh,
definitely take into account the turnover rate and absorption rate when it comes to that.
She uses the price band worksheet to figure out what's the rate.
Yeah, and the price banding worksheet that we submitted to you is what you'll utilize to go through the numbers and figure out exactly what that rate is going to look like.
From last week.
Yeah, from last week. And you can send the email to operations@oneterminus.com. Actually, I don't even know if you was on a call last week too, so that might be why you're a little bit, but I totally forgot. So yeah, send an email to operations@oneterminus.com and just request that, and they'll get you squared away.
and what's it called?
Operations or help@oneterminus.com.
I know, but what is the form you said it was called?
Price banding.
Oh, price banding.
Yeah, the price banding worksheet, and that's for anybody that wants that. We'll make sure that they get it. Go ahead, Clarence. I know you had a question.
No, my question was how to is I think it's the same email address to access the brochure, the free brochure, right?
Oh yeah, yep, same here. Absolutely.
And
And
do
we
we
have
mail them or do we pick them up?
yeah, you have to come pick them up from the HQ
Okay,
for sure.
great. And
And
then
the folders are available now. The brochures will be available as soon as we get all of our vendor partners. And I think it's going to be like a 4-week turnaround time after all of the partners are established. And it might be longer, so don't quote me on that. I don't want to, hold their feet to the fire, but they'll be pretty prompt though.
I was on a call when this started, so can you clarify what you said the folders are available now? What folders are we referring to?
Oh, that's these folders.
Okay, cool. I can grab those.
Cool.
And
I got
so
one for you
I
right
need
now.
to request them and then come pick them up, or they're just available and
Correct.
drop
Yeah,
them
you'll
in?
have to request them first because
Okay.
everything is in store. Yeah.
And then the last thing I'm curious about, just because I came late, the people in the class have these gold folders on their desk.
Yep.
With,
Yep.
and you
That's
don't have to go into a
it
deep
intended.
explanation.
Say what?
You don't have to go to a deep explanation. I just wanted to know that I need to look up something. What is that exactly?
Oh, well, I'll give you one of these too when you come pick up the folders. But ultimately, this is the listing bootcamp worksheet.
Understood.
And it's gonna have, yeah, it's gonna have all sorts of good little tidbits. And by the way, all of this is also available for everybody in one university.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So this is actually Debbie DeBrose. We just removed her branding because it was too ink, too much ink being consumed. So
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
it's my pleasure. Thanks for asking. Any other questions? We got like 5 more minutes. Any other questions? Come on, somebody got to have a question for me. Here's another look at the examples of the postcards, right? You got the postcards, the snap aparts, the letters, the yellow letters. You also have the option to upload your own, right? So you can upload your own artwork here. I'm going to be getting with corporate to have them create some pieces for us that are geared towards this, and hopefully we can get that added to Creative Studio for y'all. But you can, again, select either fully editable, general farming, upload your own, whatever might make the most sense for you. I just selected general farming, and you'll see some of the options, right? Let me help you buy or sell your home. This one is very effective with the 3 properties in the middle. Time to buy or sell, right? And this is all basic stuff. It looked kind of cheesy to me. So what I would do is, like I said, I would customize it, quite honestly, and I would make it look really dope. You can even use Canva. If you're better with Canva, use Canva, right? But just make sure that it's going to be effective. So take a couple of seconds, look at what they have here, and make sure yours have something similar or better, right? But it's the message that you want to do. It's the message that you want to get across. Again, so if I'm sending all my pieces to downtown and midtown, guess what my images are going to look like? Somebody guess.
High rises.
High rises. That's downtown and midtown, right? I'm not doing a force the soul thing here. I might do midtown skyline and then a gold sold, right? Gold foil with some, you know what I mean? Make it look cool and attractive and like, whoa, this is dope, right? So again, their stuff is super generic. I don't like that part. But like I said, you can always upload your own artwork. And if you need to, just look at theirs, right? And not only that, I'm pretty sure you can go into Canva, especially you got Canva Pro, and just type farming postcards for real estate, and they'll have a bunch of templates ready to go for you. You can create a branding. This is a whole nother class, but you can create a branding template, if you will, inside of Canva, and then all your branding elements are already there. So all the logos are already there. Everybody should have their own personal logo as well, in addition to the Realty One Group logo, right? You are branding yourself. I guarantee you LeBron James has a logo. I guarantee you Steph Curry has a logo, right? Yes, LeBron plays for the Lakers. That's the brand. He's a superstar. Y'all are superstars. Own that, you know? And then that's what we here to help you with. If you like, hey, I need guidance with that. I love stuff like that. I want to see you go out there and win and be a rock star. So it's like, that's what I need y'all to really tap into and use these tools that we have available for you, right? That's going to help you win the deal. So, all right, I think that's all the time we have pretty much.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, please.
As we're talking about branding, I too have, my degrees are in marketing, and I'm a professional photographer. I've shot for any number of magazines locally here in Atlanta and a number of corporations. So if anyone needs branding headshots, you can reach out. My name is Clarence Gabriel. I'm sure Adrian can share my information with you if you ask.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it looks phenomenal. I've seen some of his work. It's phenomenal. So don't take that lightly. Absolutely.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Cool.
Clarence, can you put that in the chat, your information?
I can. Let's see.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm going to put my, I have a different email for photography, so I'll just put it there.
And we'll get you added to the One Marketplace.
Perfect.
Good stuff, y'all. Do y'all feel like y'all learned something today? Something to implement?
A lot. Yes.
Good. Well, let's get some money, man, and let me know what I can do to help y'all get there, right? So good stuff. Thanks for joining me. As I said, this one was recorded, so it'll be uploaded to One University sometime in the near future, and you guys can access it if you need it again. And let's go out there and get some listings, y'all. Take care.
Good day.